everyone. My name is Jasmine. I'll be your host today, and I'm just popping in here to say thank you again for your support on our channel, and a huge thank you to Cathy Cat and Ash Japanese for participating in Sonoda Styling's first ever YouTube collaboration. So excited. I hope you guys enjoy. Cathy Cat is an amazing person. I'm so happy and so lucky to be able to have met her. I've been watching her for a long time on Ask Japanese channel. I think you guys are really going to enjoy some of the gems that she has to drop about life in Japan and how she got here and all sorts of things. So without further ado, let's get right into this interview. Okay, so can you give me a little introduction about you?
Hello, okay, yes. So, my name is Cathy Cat. A lot of people know me from the channel Ask Japanese on YouTube, but I also have my own program on NHK World, which is an international channel. You can compare it to maybe CNN or something like that, where we broadcast the best thing about Japan into the world. I have a program there called Japan Railway Journal, where we talk about the Japanese railway system, and then also have a podcast together with the cross-dressing metal screamo singer Ladybeard, which is called Cat with Beard from Japan. But I also do my own things. I also have my own personal YouTube channel, and I also stream on Twitch. So I'm partnered by Twitch at this point in time, and I think a lot of things. I like being a jack of all trades, I guess.
You wear many hats, it seems like.
many hats. I have many hats and many pretty dresses.
So how long have you been into like dressing up in Lolita style, like dresses?
I started dressing this style before I even came to Japan. So I started my YouTube channel personally about 11, almost 12 years ago.
Wow.
In the UK. I was still studying at university, and there was a Lolita tea party happening. So I started first doing cosplay, but then I already had Lolita dresses, but I didn't think I could wear them until I found out there's a community there. So I started wearing it finally out. The UK is fairly free and relaxed with fashion, much more relaxed than Germany is, which is where I'm from. Where fashion is very simple in Germany and very practical, I would say.
That's very interesting because I don't know if this is like stereotypical, but all like the like German town like things I always see like I guess like barmaid type.
You mean the traditional dress?
It seems like not similar because Lolita's a little more poofier, but it seems like the style could be kind of like adjacent. So.
Yeah, I literally the other day I found a secondhand store where they were just selling German traditional clothing. We call them Dirndl in Bavaria. And it was interesting to just see, okay, some people just buy it to dress in traditional dress, I assume. And again, it has the same pattern of the very modest blouse, dress, sometimes some kind of crossing pattern at the front or a little apron. So there are some things that come over, but the actual Lolita fashion style is like it comes more from the Victorian and the Rococo kind of influences, where people were wearing these big dresses as well.
Ooh, I love that. That's so cool. So how long have you been in Japan?
In Japan, I've been for now, I think 8 going on 9, 8 years for sure. Hold on. Hold on.
I was thinking, wait, 8 sounds too short.
Hold on, let me give me a second there. I've been terrible at math before, so wait a second. I've broken into my 9th year.
Whoa!
So I've not been here full 9 years, but I've broken into my 9th year.
Oh my gosh, how does it feel to reflect back and think?
It's like 8 years and 4 months
ish. That is crazy to think about. Have you always lived in Tokyo?
Yes, so it pretty much around the Tokyo area was always my main base, just because of the nature of the work I do. Working as an influencer and such. There's a couple of influencers who manage to live on the countryside, but if you really want to work with other media, I work with radio and TV, you generally have to be located in one of the big cities.
That's true. Is there any places in in Japan that you have visited that you were like, I could live here?
All of them.
Really?
All of them. I mean, I fell in love with pretty much all the prefectures. I've had the great pleasure to go to. Like, I feel very grateful that I could see so many places. I sometimes get told, you've been traveling more than me, French Japanese people. I literally went to Aomori. I went this year. I finally made my dream come true and went to Hokkaido. I love Okinawa. I love Kyoto. I try to go as much to Kyoto as I can. I think there is always something new to discover, and because Japan has so much variety of different things, of different foods and different cultures and festivals and such, nowhere is boring. Everywhere is exciting. There's always something to discover.
I feel that. I agree with that. That's so true. So, have you always been interested in interviewing people, like becoming a host for like, or did you just kind of stumble upon that position?
I guess I studied for a bachelor's and I got also 2 masters after that. So there's always a general interest. I really am very curious about people. I think every one of us is carrying a story. And it's just sometimes people say, oh no, I'm boring, and then you ask them a couple of questions, they're really not. Everyone has a story. Everyone is also the protagonist in their little adventure. So I do like engaging with people and actually going a little bit closer in. So for example, instead of just going, hey, I'm here, this is great, bye, I do like actually talking with the people. And if you think personally, if you go on a trip, for example, what do you remember? Yeah, you remember the pretty sights, but you might also remember the funny taxi driver or the waiter in that restaurant. In the end, we will always remember people so much more than just sights, in my opinion at least.
That makes sense. That's so true.
And I think that connects then naturally with being interested in people and wanting to find out more about them, interviewing them, those kind of things.
Wow. That's so nice. I like that. So, how many countries have you been to so far? And where do you want to go the most?
Because I'm from Europe, it's very easy for us to travel between countries. So I think I lost count somewhere there because it's, if I want to go to Austria, it's about an hour and a half away by car, and then you just keep driving, and then you are either in Swiss or you are in Italy, or so that's one of the things that I think I started appreciating more now that I'm not living in Europe anymore, is just how close everything is actually connected in Europe and how easily we can cross borders without having to have passports and controls and things like that. What I hold very dear is my time in the UK. That's where I studied. So I feel like a part of me is still in the UK. And in the UK, everyone called me Cat. And in Japan, everyone called me Cathy. And that's how I became Cathy Cat. I didn't want to lose the identity I had in the UK. I didn't want to lose the identity I have here in Japan. So I combined them, and that's why I decided to go with the name Cathy Cat.
That's so cute.
Places I would like to go, anywhere really. Anywhere really where the food's good, the people are nice, and it's safe to get around, I guess. That would probably be a thing, especially the way I dress. I do stand out quite a lot. But if I was asked where I wanted to go next, I would actually say this year, if this is possible, I just want to go to Okinawa again. I love Okinawa. There is a German village. I hope it's still there. I would like to visit that German village and just maybe put on my German traditional dress and waltz around there a little bit.
That would be so cute.
But if it's also in close proximity, I'd love to go back to Taiwan. I've modeled in Thailand twice for a Taiwanese fashion brand. And it'd be nice to go back there. And if it's somewhere I haven't been to, I would like to maybe explore Korea because it's close and everyone says it's fun there.
It is so. I've been to South Korea twice, and it's like, it's so amazing. I kid you not, there was not a meal that I ate that I didn't like in Korea, which is crazy to think about. And like the transportation is also, compared to Japan, it's a lot cheaper. So like getting on the trains or even taking a taxi, it's very cheap to just get around. I recommend it.
All right, okay. You're selling this to me. I like it.
Yes. Let me see. What do you enjoy most about living in Japan, and what do you find the most difficult?
Enjoy most, I would say, is, and I don't like when people just say other culture, because it can be anything. But for me, I think it's probably the way people are with each other. And Japanese culture is like you kind of create a circle and you try that kind of everyone gets an equal amount of a piece of a cake. Or if you, for example, I try to explain this, like I'm a tiny German. All the other Germans around me are taller, way taller. So if there's a group of people and it goes about what we're going to do today, the person who usually is the loudest and tallest wins. They go, I want to go to the cinema, so we're all going to the cinema. Well, in Japan, it's like, okay, what does everyone want to go? You want to go to the cinema, you want to go to a cafe, you want to go shopping. How about we combine two things and the other thing we do next time? So there's this kind of like, let's all try to make sure everyone gets something, or everyone gets heard at least, that kind of looking after each other, the spirit of community, where you kind of look out for the community and make sure that in your circle things are okay. Or for example, people who just get up in the morning and they tidy the streets because they got the time and it is their neighborhood. That kind of looking after everyone is great. Also, I do like the safety. I think one of the scenarios that's been very big for me recently is during the pandemic, when it was just on its way out and we were allowed to be out again. I was walking through a park in Tokyo, and there was this tiny cafe on the corner of the park, and I talked with the staff and said, I'll come back in 10 minutes, can I come here? And the girl was 17 and she's like, fine. So come back, and the music is on and I say hello, but no one answers. And I look in the entire room, upstairs, downstairs, and I can't find her. So I'm like, okay, but the music's on, the light's on. So I sit down and wait for her, and she comes back 10 minutes later. Oh, I was just getting milk. And I thought, if this is a country where a 17-year-old girl in a park all by herself can leave the place for 10 minutes to buy milk without locking it, without having to be scared, this is a place I would like to keep living in.
That's crazy. What?
The cafe was also called Crazy Cafe. So.
No way. Now I'm gonna look it up later. See if I can make a to-go place list.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where I thought, this is wonderful. That harmony is something that I really appreciate. And then, of course, food's great. People are nice. Crazy. Many things to do. You never get bored here. True. Every prefecture is something to offer. Every prefecture is something to show. Everyone tries to stand out and even come up with ideas. So if they don't have much, then they think about, okay, how about we plant dozens and dozens of flowers and make ourselves more attractive. So there's always something changing, always something new, and people trying to make things happen, I guess.
Oh, I love that. So what do you find most difficult about living in Japan?
Difficult. I think compared to a lot of other countries, living in Japan is easier. If you think about the hurdles that you have to face of living and safety and these kind of things considered. Other things that make living in Japan difficult is natto.
It's funny you say that. My son loves natto. he will eat it every day.
Very healthy. Natto, I would say, is probably one of the hurdles to deal with. Natto, that's probably the biggest one.
There are certain foods, I think, that a lot of Japanese people, it's like, yeah, this is normal. But like other countries, or especially Western countries, people will come visit and they're like, what is this? No, I agree.
Yeah.
So, do you find interviewing people easy? Do you ever get nervous, especially if it's a certain topic that's like, I guess, political or something? Like, do you ever get nervous about approaching random people on the street?
Approaching random people on the street in itself is, I think, a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize. I've seen some interviewers recently who they're clever and they just call their friends, or they're actually part of a school or something, so they have like this pool of people that they can easily approach. But the theme of Ask Japanese is that we do get people off the streets that we've never met before, that are not connected to us at all, which makes it sometimes hard because we will get turned down a lot. I think I'm not scared about so much asking. What's harder is just to find a person to say yes, depending on the time. And you can read the current state in which Japan is in at that point in time as well. And you can read it. It is sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's is there anything like going on, like obviously we were very strict during the pandemic that we weren't interviewing to make sure everyone is safe, because I will talk to a lot of people a day. So during that time we didn't actually do interviews and stuff. But once we get people to say yes, and it's a difficult topic, I must say sometimes I will try and rounding it up a little bit and make it a little bit softer, because while some channels like to go for the really racy questions, I think a big theme and core of Ask Japanese is that we just want people to be happy and love Japan and enjoy things, and so we want to also be entertaining at the same time. So for us, instead of like going with all the easy click racy questions, we do like also to just make people happy who will watch our videos, or people who are in our interviews. So I also try to like loosen people up a little bit before we go into the interview, and if it's a tougher topic afterwards, I'm like, oh, that was a bit tough, but thank you so much for answering, and make sure that everyone leaves with a smile.
Oh, that's good. Do you come up with the questions, or do you have like a team of people who...
It's generally the director and I. So we work together on that, and sometimes we'll bounce things off each other. We usually have a meeting before we start filming, and we have like a general idea of questions we want to ask, and then we will maybe decide, oh, this one is a good one, or maybe that one is actually not such a good one, and then we kind of filter it out as we go along. And we can also tell that certain questions I might have done well a couple of years ago and maybe not really that interesting right now, so we have to kind of keep changing and pivoting a lot.
Do you have a certain age limit, or do you like interview school age children or teens, or is it usually just adults?
We try not to interview schoolgirls in their school uniforms, simply because in Japan there's a lot of schools that have actually rules around girls' school uniforms, saying you're not allowed to be on media with your school uniform on. So it's actually our way to protect them, because I'm sure they're the young generation, they'll be like, yeah, sure, let's have fun, but we don't want them to get into trouble. And of course, looks wise, to have a schoolgirl in a school uniform in a YouTube video will get more clicks, but we're actually, and I think that makes it a little bit different. We try to always do the right thing, which might not get the most clicks at times, but at least we're making sure that no one gets into trouble with the kind of content we create. So that's why we don't interview girls who are in their school uniform. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether someone is in school or not. That is something else, but school uniforms we will not ask.
Okay. So what does a typical day, like when you know that you're about to go out and film and interview people, like a typical day from morning to I guess finish?
Generally, we meet before the shops open in Harajuku or in Tokyo or in Shibuya or wherever we're going. We first meet right before the shops open. Shops open around 11-ish. So we try and meet before that, have a little lunch meet, and while we have the lunch meet we go over the questions. We decide, are we going to interview Japanese people today, are we going to interview tourists or foreigners today, and then we decide on which questions we think are the best ones, which questions we want to maybe ask later, and then we just stand on the streets. And to be honest, that can be really tough, because we have been out in cold weather, hot weather, the rain. We have been out on days when our hay fevers were both kicking in. Last year I got a heat stroke. It was one of the hottest days of the year. We had almost 40 degrees, and I got heat fatigue or heat stroke afterwards. So it's because we will stand, I think I'll interview this week. We were out on our feet for 8 hours.
Oh, goodness.
Generally, no breaks. We just keep going. So until we get enough people together. So I think what a lot of people don't see is just how much effort goes actually into those interviews, because we do real interviews. We're just standing there until we have all the questions and the sun goes down. So if you see in the videos that it's dark when we're interviewing, you know we've been there till very, very late.
Oh my gosh. So as far as all of the projects and businesses and works that you do, what is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you in terms of not even just like YouTube, but like when you do other collaborations with like media companies or stuff like that?
That is a bit of a tricky one because Japanese media is incredibly different from online media or YouTube and such. So, for example, a couple of years ago, I was working with a show called Tokyo Extra, which did film TV style. Part of it was broadcasted in Japanese, and at the same time, it was also broadcasted in English. So they did a really cool new approach. But working in media, even they were surprised that they had high quality production and it looked amazing and they had professional teams. But on YouTube, that doesn't matter. You can literally just sit down and eat a piece of pizza and it might do better than a highly produced film. So media has changed a lot. So the Japanese TV media still goes very much the traditional way, while the online media has a lot of freedom, sometimes breaking some rules in Japan, which I do not think is a good idea. So it's really hard to say which advice has helped for both. There's probably no advice that is easily applicable for both. As an influencer, I think the point is to just not give up. The easiest thing is just to expect a lot of followers and want them to roam in. And if you're lucky and you get viral, that is absolutely great. But for me, it was always slow, steady growth. So my personal channel has been overtaken by Ask Japanese years ago. But I didn't still give up on it because I see it almost at this point in time, instead of a heavily branded niche channel, what a lot of people are doing, which is a good idea right now, by the way. It's more of almost a dictionary or like a diary of my life, starting off at university, those kind of things, while nowadays you need to probably brand more and be in a niche and be super professional, and that's also a great thing to do. But in the end, you need to find out what is your goal. Do you just want to make people aware of you? Do you want to grow a business? Do you want to just have fun online, which is also fantastic? Just don't get yourself tired out, because there's been a word here in Japan called SNS tsukare. It's like the social media fatigue, when people burn themselves out and they don't see the results they want. What I've learned from now 11 years doing this is the rules will always change. And the hardest thing is to then, if you've done something and it done well and suddenly doesn't do well anymore, to find the next thing, how the rules will change again. In the end, your followers are everything, but if the algorithm doesn't recommend you anymore to your followers, you have to then again pivot and find new ways to find out what does the bot want you to do right now? What do the algorithms want you to do right now? And then you need to pivot with that. And the rules will always change. They have changed many, many times during the time I've started this. They're currently changing all over again because it's now short movie media is popular right now.
Right.
So you need to constantly be able to just change your ways, even if it's a bit painful because you just got to a good place and then you have to start all over again. But you just need to still not give up.
That's true.
Just keep going.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to live in Japan?
I probably come from it from a different angle. If you're an English native speaker coming from abroad, I think you have some really great ways you can start. A lot of people start teaching English and then they pivot. So there are some easy ways to come to Japan if you're, for example, willing to teach English at the start and then at the same time look around, see what you can do. If that is not an option for you, you might be able to go through the working holiday program, which is certain countries have a contract with each other that young people up to the age, I think, of 30, depending on the country, can travel to that country and stay there for a year, but they don't have to work. They can travel, they can work, they can study whatever they want to. It gives them literally a year visa without stress and panic to enjoy that country. That is a great option for those who can have that for Japan. That one is another, I think, a really nice way to experience Japan without having to think, oh, I need to work, oh, I need to do this. You can like literally have a good bite out of Japan, experience quite a lot of things, and then if you realize this is the country you really want to stay at for longer, then you can maybe find a job that will then extend your visa and turn it into a full work visa.
I didn't know about the
Work and travel.
Yeah.
Not all countries are part of it. So, for example, I think America is not part of it. But then again, Americans have the option of becoming an ALT. And if you become an official ALT, those ones are actually very well paid. They have a really good balance there because as far as I understand, it was like an agreement between countries saying, okay, let's get young people into Japan, experience Japan, teach the kids, and then after 3 years, that's the max you can do as an official AAT. Generally, as far as I've heard at least, then they will return to their country and hopefully spread a positive image of Japan as well. So yeah, ALT is a great option if you can take it. It is sometimes they help you even set up where you live and the whole surrounding things around it, which is great. Otherwise, maybe find a different school for teaching English, and if that's not an option and you have the working holiday, work and travel, that is a great way to find, at least have a good taster of Japan.
Right.
And then you can decide whether you really want to stay for longer than that.
Okay. So going back to before, you were talking about your aesthetic, your style, because you usually dress up. Is there ever a day where you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna put on some jeans?
Okay, I have two. I think recently I have one new pair, but I generally have 2 pairs of jeans, and they barely leave my closet. I think coming from Germany, which is very practical, and I think, in my opinion, sorry Germans, kind of blunt and a bit boring. I am enjoying the chances that I have here of dressing up, and I think the positive thing is that Japanese people live and let live a lot, so they might be thinking something, good, something bad, but they won't voice it. But they really say voice, they actually do say nice things. They say kawaii if you walk past, which is nice, but they do their thing, you do yours, everyone minds their business.
That's true.
Which is a wonderful thing because you can express yourself any way you want to, and you have that freedom of expression. I'm just honest with myself. If I go into a normal store, nothing will make my heart beat. But if I go into a store that has these colorful dresses and patterns, my heart beats faster. I will touch the item and I'll go like, I want this. I want to wear this. I want to experience this. I want to experience myself in this. I want to go out and explore Japan in this. So there's a different passion and joy in it. And I think this fashion, there are some rules in the different Japanese fashion genres, but having done this for so long, I just realized it is more about also experimenting and just having fun with fashion. In the end, we're doing this because it gives us a good feeling. So instead of just being worried all the time whether you're not breaking any rules and doing everything right, I just want everyone to just enjoy it, have fun in the fashion. Make mistakes. If you have to make mistakes, at least you're trying. That is already better. And even if you're just putting on a big bow and you love that big bow, put on that bow. You have that t-shirt that you love but you're scared to wear out because you think it's too colorful, wear it. Like, if you're not gonna do it now, when are you gonna do it? Life is short, and it's too short to worry all the time about other people. So just put it on, as long as you can wear it safely, depending on your country, which is obviously a reason for some people to not wear it. But if you have an environment in which you can safely dress up without being scared or worried, then do it, because it gives people so much joy back. I've met a lot of girls and boys over the years who they shine when they wear what they want to wear. It's a way of liberation and self-expression that is unique to this style, and I think having fun with fashion is one of the things I want to keep doing no matter how old I get. I want to be one of those crazy grannies who wears like colorful hair and too many clothes, and everyone already knows her in the neighborhood as the crazy granny. That's what I'm aiming for.
I see the passion when you talk about the fashion and stuff, and it's inspiring. I love it. Do you ever have you ever made any pieces before?
I've made accessories. I used to make my own cosplay when I was in cosplay musical in Germany, and I just realized that I'm terrible at sewing, so I left that to other people to do. I've like designed some like cute dresses on paper, but at this point in time, luckily there's so many designers and so many new brands approaching that I just love looking at what the different brands are doing, and hopefully just find something cute that I want to wear, and if I want to put it on my body, there we go.
Exactly.
Have my money. I want to wear this.
I mean, you're in a sense, you're supporting other artists.
Exactly. Supporting other artists or just exploring. And sometimes also what really impressed me right now is the different types of brands that are in Taiwan. The Lolita community there, a lot of the girls don't just wear it, they make their own dresses, they make their own headpieces, they make their own tights and designs and such.
Wow.
And I was just so massively inspired by these young girls who just decided that they're going to make it. Like, I'm so inspired by them.
I love that. Wow. I've been to Harajuku a couple of times, so I've seen like, most of the stores and stuff. And I don't know, I guess you were saying like, if you want to wear it, just do it. Because sometimes I walk in and I'm like, oh, it's all so cute. And I'm like, can I wear this? Like,
yes, you can. You can. In the end, sometimes I also ask myself, when I'm in front of decisions, I ask myself, 3 years in the future, would I look back at myself and regret that I didn't do it? And generally, the answer is yes. So now, why don't you do it?
That's it right there. I like that. Oh, well, I guess about your personal YouTube, is there any content that you make that, like, do you plan it out, or do you just say like, okay, today I'm just gonna do a get ready with me, or today I'm just gonna, I don't know, go to a cafe and show this cute little bun or whatever?
I think as Japanese is we plan. We have questions and we plan. Well, on my personal channel, like I said, it is actually just pure me. And I think you get a good glimpse into who I am by that channel, because it is such a mix of random things that I just enjoy to do. So one day maybe I'm traveling, one day I'm maybe just introducing a dress, maybe one day I'm just talking to the camera about something that happened to me. So my personal channel is just this stew of different things that I enjoy. Nowadays, if someone is starting a channel, I would then advise to not do what I'm doing, because it's not good for growth. Right now you have to, at least at this point in time, who knows, it will probably change next year, but at this point in time you have to have a niche and stay in your niche. So if you like fashion, you need to stay with fashion and just stick with fashion. If you do travel content, ideally just stick with travel content. But at my personal channel, I just love doing what I want to do, and that's the theme of my personal channel. It's do what you love and love what you do. So I post what I'm doing, what I love doing, and that's how I pretty much proceed with that channel. When I started it, there was no branding. There wasn't even an AdSense or anything at that point in time. Right. I started before there wasn't even the idea of the word influencer didn't exist yet when I started. So obviously this is not a heavy branded space. It is literally just my play around space where I'm just having fun, and I'm sharing it with people who hopefully enjoy that honesty also that I'm sharing on that channel.
Do you ever get recognized when you go out?
In Harajuku or in Tokyo as such, for sure. I'm really, really happy when people come and say hi, especially when people said they've been looking for me, walking up and down the street, and they finally find me. It makes me very, very happy. I'm always happy to meet people who have watched me. I think there's such a wonderful energy, and I'm so proud of everyone. You have to be kind of brave to approach a total stranger and ask them, are you the person that I think you are? That already takes a lot of braveness. So it's always a wonderful moment. And if any one of you guys should come and see me, just come, say hi, let's take pictures together. Yay. Unless I'm wearing jeans, then that means no.
They'll be surprised.
It's really rare. You have to find a rare day for me to wear jeans, I think.
Oh, I would assume so.
It's very rare. Probably 3 times a year.
Wow. 3 times a year. I feel like it's the opposite for me with dresses. I feel like the majority of my closet is jeans.
And this is something people don't know. I used to be a total tomboy.
What?
I didn't like dresses. I didn't wear dresses. I didn't think I was looking good in dresses. So I was just wearing jeans until university.
What?
And I had kind of like a makeover experience that happened during my university years. And ever since then, I started first developing my own style and then more and more going into Japanese subculture fashion styles.
That's mind blowing to think. I couldn't right now. I couldn't imagine you being a tomboy. Because you're just so cute. Your aesthetic is just. Well, I'm sure even as a tomboy, you're probably really cute. So.
Thank you.
Well, I think I asked everything. Yeah, I guess. Are there any closing remarks that you would want to just say about you, about us Japanese, just in case like anyone who is listening doesn't really know about it, but is after this listening to it going to look it up?
Ask Japanese is a great YouTube channel if you really want to find out what people on the streets in Japan are currently thinking, especially the young generation, the voices of them. We're trying to ask a variety of young people on the streets of Tokyo about their opinions about anything from love to more important topics like why there's, for example, right now a low birth rate in Japan. We try to ask a variety, but we try to always make it fun, make people smile in it. And I think that's a big motto of me and the director of Ask Japanese, that we want to bring smiles to the people. And that is the Ask Japanese channel. My personal channel is this fun hodgepodge of introducing fashion, my life in Japan, in a fun and carefree combo. The motto there is do what you love and love what you do. It's been that motto for 11 years now, and it's just a nice hangout space to see what's going on. On my Twitch, I do engage personally with people. I try to read almost every comment if I can when I'm live streaming on Twitch, so it kind of brings me closer and actually lets me talk and interact with my kittens. I call my audience my kittens.
That's so cute.
Because I'm Cathy Cat and the kittens, and they're kind of following me around Japan. So that's how I have the chance to then speak with them and really, really engage with them. I think I love that a lot. And then obviously also the Cat with Beard podcast, where we have a lot of fun and we interact with other people who've kind of made it in Japan and we interview them. I think that's a great thing for people if they're interested in Japan to find out about more. And then Japan Railway Journal on NHK, which talks about the Japanese railway system. So you can find me pretty much anywhere. Cathy Cat _TV. You find me pretty much everywhere. It's just literally Cathy Cat, both with a C, then the underscore symbol and TV. And you can find me on Instagram, on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere. Just find me. Let's hang out and have some fun with fashion. And don't forget, life is sweet. Let's be sweet to each other and do what you love and love what you do.
You're so cute. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you too.